In the last class, we have learnt about the transportation in animals. That is how the things are transported in human beings. Today, we shall learn about the transportation in plants. We know that plants are autotrophic in nutrition. That is, they make their own food. That is by the process called as photosynthesis. And for the process of photosynthesis, it needs water and carbon dioxide. We have learnt how these two are supplied to the plants for the process of photosynthesis. And we also learnt the photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. So leaves supply the food to all parts of the plant body. The plants, apart from the food which is prepared inside the plant body, they also need some of the raw materials which can help in building plant bodies. They need some materials which help them to build their bodies. They need to take them separately apart from the process of photosynthesis. So, from where does they take such materials which are required for their body? We know that for plants, the soil is the nearest and richest source of raw materials. For the plants, soil is the nearest and the richest source of raw materials. So we know that soil contains many substances, many nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and other minerals. So the plants absorbs these substances from the soil which are required for the building up of the body and metabolic process which takes place in the plants. This occurs. How does this occur? Means how plants absorb these materials. The absorption of these materials takes place through the part of the plant which is in contact with the soil, which is very close in contact with the soil. We should know which part of the plant is very closely in contact with the soil. Obviously, that is the roots. The roots are very close in contact with the soil. So, the roots help in absorption of the materials which are required for the plant body. And roots not only absorb, but after absorption, the things have to move. Things have to move to the parts of the plant body. Especially, it should reach to the leaves and other parts. How does this takes place? This takes place through the process called as simple diffusion. This diffusion process will help in getting the things from roots to all parts of the body. But we must remember that if the distance between the part of the plant body which is in contact with the soil and the other parts of the plant body is very less. If the distance between the roots and other parts of the plant body is less, that is when the plants are very small. When the plants are very small, in such cases, simple diffusion is very, very helpful for the transport of the raw materials which is absorbed by the roots to reach all parts of the plant. But if the distance becomes large, if the distances between the roots and other parts of the plant becomes very large, how it becomes large? It becomes large because of the growth or changes that takes place in the plant design. For example, the growth. In such cases, the diffusion will not work. The simple diffusion will not be sufficient to supply the materials which is absorbed by the roots. So, it cannot help to provide the raw materials to all parts of the body. For example, to reach the leaves. So, in such cases, a proper system of transportation is essential. A proper system of transportation is therefore essential in such situations. where the distance between the part of the plant which is absorbing the minerals from the soil and the other parts of the plant body is very far from each other. In such cases, the simple diffusion does not work. So a proper system of transportation is essential in such situations. This is one of the important concept. It's very important question. Many times this question is asked in the examination. Why there is a proper system of transportation in plants is essential or necessary. We should know the reason for this. The need of energy differs from organism to organism. For example, animals move place to place, that is, they show movement and they are highly active. So, the requirement of energy is very high in case of animals. Whereas, plants do not move. They don't show movement from place to place. And moreover, the plant bodies have a large proportion of dead cells. Large proportion of dead cells in many parts of the plant body. It is because of this reason plants have very low energy requirement. The energy requirement is very less and can use relatively slow transport systems. Here the plants use very slow transport system. It is because the energy requirement is very low. We know what is the reason behind this. The reason behind this is the plants do not show movement, as well as in many part of the plant body the dead cells are accumulated. So because of this reason the energy requirement is less. So energy requirement differs between organism to organism. Then how the transportation takes place in very large plants? In very large plants, the transportation system will move energy stores from the leaves and raw materials from the roots. So, the transportation should take place in two ways. That is, it has to transport the energy which gets stored in the leaves because of photosynthesis. At the same time, the raw materials which is absorbed by the roots has to be transported. So, the two pathways they need to follow. These two pathways are constructed as independently organized conducting tubes. So these two pathways are followed by two independently organized conducting tissues. The conducting tissues here we are talking about the xylem and phloem. This already we have learnt in the class 9. The conducting tissues. We know what are the two conducting tissues. The conducting tissues are nothing but the xylem and the phloem. The first one is xylem. The xylem moves water and minerals obtained from the soil to the leaves. Xylem is water conducting tissue. Xylem helps in transportation of water from the roots to the leaves. On the other hand, the phloem tissue, the second conducting tissue is phloem. The phloem transports the products of photosynthesis. The products of photosynthesis means whatever the photosynthesis has taken place, the product is transported from the leaves to the other parts of the plant body. So there are two conducting tissues, one is xylem, the other one is phloem. Xylem is water conducting tissue, phloem is food conducting tissue. We must remember which is the water conducting tissue and which is the food conducting tissue. Xylem tissue is the water conducting tissue and phloem is the food conducting tissue. Xylem helps in conducting water from roots to the leaves and phloem helps to distribute the food or the energy which is stored in the leaves to all other parts of the plant. So now we shall learn in detail how actually the transportation takes place in the plants through the xylem and the phloem. Let's learn the transport of water. We already have learned what are the conducting tissues in the plants which help in conduction of water and food. So transport of water, which is the conducting tissue for water? That is nothing but xylem. Xylem tissue is the conducting tissue for water. So, what actually happens in the xylem cells? In the last year, that is in the class 9, we learnt more in detail about the xylem and phloem tissues. We know that xylem and phloem are complex tissues, so they have different types of cells in it. So component of xylem tissue we have learnt. The component of xylem tissue it consists of 4 types of cells. They are xylem parenchyma, xylem sclerenchyma, vessels and tracheids. Vessels and tracheids are the living part of the functioning part of the xylem tissue. So in xylem tissue, vessels and tracheids of the roots and stems and leaves are interconnected. The vessels and tracheids of xylem cells in the roots, stems and leaves are interconnected to form a continuous system of water conducting tissues. Like they form a channel. It's a continuous channel which connects roots, stems and leaves. And this channel is spread to all parts of the plants. So it is an internal channel is formed with the xylem vessels and tracheids which runs every part of the plant. So from roots to each and every part of the plant, we can find a continuous channel inside the plant body. So at the roots, the cells which are in contact with the soil, they actively take up the ions, the water ions. And this is happening only because of the simple process called as diffusion, the difference of concentration. So this creates a difference in the concentration of the ions between the root and the soil. So the ions move from higher concentration to the lower concentration, that is from soil to the roots. So water molecules move from the roots to the from the soil to the roots. So the water moves because of the root pressure itself. But pressure itself is not enough to move the water to the heights of the plants. There is something which works or which helps to move water molecules throughout the plant body. What is that process? That process is nothing but transpiration. The transpiration is also one of the common phenomenon which helps to move water to the greater heights. How does it work? Let's know what is transpiration first. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of vapors from the aerial parts of the plant. It's known as transpiration. Very important concept, transpiration. So what is the definition for transpiration? Transpiration is nothing but the loss of water in the form of vapors from the aerial parts of the plant. It is known as transpiration. Aerial parts means which are exposed to environment. So this process is called as transpiration. How does this transpiration help in the process of movement of water? Due to the loss of water, we know that during the process of transpiration, the water is lost in the form of vapors from the plant body. So whenever the evaporation takes place, the water molecules, whichever is escaping from the plant body as water vapor, this is creating a pressure inside the plant body. The pressure is nothing but the suction pressure. The transpiration is creating a kind of pressure inside the plant body due to the evaporation of water. That pressure is nothing but suction pressure. And this suction pressure will help in the upward direction movement of the water molecules. This is how The suction pressure created due to the transpiration will help in the movement of water from roots to the upper part of the plant body. So this is how the transpiration helps in the process of transport of water. And transportation is not only helping in the process of the movement of water from roots to the all other parts of the plant body, but this transpiration is also help to maintain the temperature. It also helps in the temperature regulation of the plant. So it's one of the important concept. What are the benefits of transpiration? Benefits of transpiration. So it helps in the movement of water, that is helps in the transportation of water in the plant body to the greatest height of the plants. At the same time, this helps to regulate the temperature. So this is what the transpiration helps during the process of movement of or transport of water in the plants. We can see through this diagram what actually happens during the movement of water. So the movement of water takes place due to the root pressure created because of ions differences, concentration of ion differences. So concentration of ion difference will help to move water inside the roots, and the simple diffusion will help to move the upward movement of water through the channel. But to the greatest heights, the water molecule moves only because of the process called as transpiration. The transpiration is loss of water in the form of water vapors. As the water is passed out as a water vapor, this loss of water creates an internal pressure. That pressure is called as suction pressure. The suction pressure will pull up the water molecules to the greatest height of the plants. So this is an advantage of transpiration in the process of transport of water to the greatest height of the plants. And this diagram also shows the transportation of water is always unidirectional. Unidirectional means it moves in only one direction from roots to the top of the plants. It's not bidirectional, it's only unidirectional. It's one of the important point to be remembered. The transportation of water is always unidirectional. The water moves only in the one direction, that is from roots to the top of the trees. Now let's learn how the products of metabolic processes. Now let's discuss how the transportation of food and other substances takes place inside the plant body. We learnt about the transportation of water, but the transportation of food is not same as that of water transportation. Now, how the products of metabolic processes, particularly the photosynthetic products, how they are moved from leaves to all other parts of the plant body. We know the leaves are the site of photosynthesis. There the photosynthetic products will be formed. So how this formed food or the photosynthetic product is transported to each and every part of the plant body. The photosynthetic products are always transported in the form of soluble form, that is the products are soluble in water. So these soluble products are then it is transported to all parts of the plant body. This process is called as translocation. Translocation. What is translocation? Important term. The translocation is nothing but the transportation of the photosynthetic products in soluble forms. In soluble form. Soluble form means which can be dissolved in water. So this type of transportation is called as translocation. The photosynthetic products are transported in dissolved form, in soluble form. So how actually the translocation occurs? The translocation occurs because of the vascular tissue, conducting tissue. Which vascular tissue is involved in the translocation of food? That is nothing but the phloem. Phloem helps in the translocation of the food into the plant body. So, phloem also has the components like the xylem. So, these phloem cells help in the translocation of food to all parts of the plant body. Where actually it is transported in all parts of the plant body, especially the storage organs. The food is transferred to the storage organs of the plants like roots, fruits and seeds and all other growing parts of the plant. So these parts the food is translocated. The translocation of food and other substances takes place in the sieve tubes. Which part of the xylem helps in the translocation? Sieve tubes. Do you remember what are the components of phloem? There are 4 components of phloem. Those are nothing but the phloem parenchyma, phloem sclerenchyma, sieve tubes and companion cells. These are the 4 components of phloem cells. The sieve tubes of the phloem helps in the translocation of the food. So, sieve tubes along with the adjacent companion cells. Sieve tubes along with the companion cells help in the translocation of the food. And the translocation of food is bidirectional. It moves upward as well as downwards. But do you remember what is the direction of water movement? The water moves only in the unidirection. But the translocation is takes place in both the directions, upward as well as downward direction. This is one of the important difference between the transportation of water and the food. The translocation of food requires lot of energy. It does not take place just like physical forces as in case of water movement. It needs some more energy. The translocation needs more energy. So the translocation gets energy from the energy molecules, that is from the ATP molecules will help in the process of translocation of food products, especially the products like sucrose. The translocation of sucrose needs lot of energy. So the energy from the ATP molecules are utilized for the translocation of the food products. What is the function of ATP molecules? The ATP molecules will help to increase the osmotic pressure of the tissues. So this osmotic pressure will help in the movement of the food molecules. So this is one of the important difference between the translocation and the transport of water. The translocation needs lot of energy. This energy the plants get from the ATP. ATP molecules help to increase the osmotic pressure, and this osmotic pressure will help to move the molecules or the materials into the different parts of the plant body. So this is how the osmotic pressure help in the translocation of the food products. So this also depends on the needs of the plants. The translocation also depends on the plant's needs. For example, in different seasons, the different parts of the plants need more energy. So this is how it will be balanced due to the osmotic pressure.